Okay, so we're going to get into GitHub. So yeah, I got my mine assigned and sorted for those who were wondering. Okay, so this is a fresh start for year 11. Should be reasonably familiar for year 12, and year 13 should be familiar. I'll just go through the requirements for the whole GitHub side of things. Oh, it's probably easy to go through. Let's go through the OneNote. Yeah, press enter. Go. Thank you. Fortunately, the web standard doesn't have huge requirements on the. No, I want. Yes, thank you. That one? Yes, I do. That one. And web project, web. Okay, so this is the NCA standard. Exciting stuff. And I just skipped through the whole thing of it. Right, so using appropriate tools and techniques to design elements purpose the user. So this is techniques and design elements. So obviously needs to look pretty a bit. Applying appropriate data and integrity testing procedures. So showing some form of like ongoing testing. This is a little bit where GitHub comes in. Using information from the testing to improve quality. Yeah, okay, relevant locations. Improved this one here, improved throughout the design process. So iterative improvement throughout the design, creation, development process. This is where the GitHub really comes in. It's very kind of narrow, and I can say, oh, well, they've done it honest, but it's like, where's the evidence of showing improvement? It's like, final results awesome. So showing, well, I don't know if it just suddenly appeared, like I need to kind of see it gone through some stages, and that's where GitHub kind of covers this, particularly more of the excellence. Now, this doesn't say it has to have a lot. The other thing about this with the GitHub, particularly for level 1, the programming standard with 10 credits for you guys, because it will be program plus the iterative one, this one here, which is worth 6 credits by itself. So the programming standard is worth 4, and the biggest standard is the iterative one, which is it is like you need to show where is it? Oh, it's in there. Using information from testing, trying to improve outcome, multiple components, technically suitable. Basically, it's saying that in here, if you dig down into it further, which I can't be bothered really doing in this video, and it's another standard, which is one I see a bit of a side note, really needs that GitHub thing. So if you kind of do GitHub vaguely, okay, for level 1 in here, sweet. If you do a little, you need to do a little bit more consistently for level 2, and obviously reasonably consistently for level 3 for web, but it's not super intense. That being said, when you do the programming standard, it's a 6 credit standard about using GitHub effectively, showing the iterative process. Okay, so if I quickly jump across to level 2 web coding, data testing, applying tools and techniques, using conventions for improved quality outcome, iterative. So you're seeing this iterative improvement type stuff, and so that iterative improvement, it's like, well, where's the evidence? How have you documented this? Using efficient tools and techniques for the outcome. So that's really where it's coming in. So examples of advanced techniques, using third-party library. Okay. Using composite effects. No. Managing efficient tools. Master pages for student development templates. So you get some of this whole procedures and what have you. So yeah. And then if I jump to level 3 web coding, the appropriate tools is really what it comes under as well, because it's really requiring that user experience principles. Yeah. So yeah, it's requiring that there's some form of kind of progression documentation. So anyway, long story short, this is kind of a good practice for programming, to be like the programming standard that's worth either 10 credits at level 1 or 12 at level 2 and level 3. Okay, so we make a new repository, and then you give it a name. So you basically need to name this repository, and I'll call this like web video. You can give it a description, but so unneeded. You will be public because we haven't got like a paid account. You want to initialize with a README because it's very awkward to try and upload files without it. Ignore that stuff. Create repository. This is your initial setup, so if you need to watch that video twice to get this done. Oh, okay, dismiss. Good, this hasn't changed much since I was here last. So we get a few things. So a commit is every time you upload code. And I've done one commit because it comes with a README, which I never touch again. We have a branch. A branch is when effectively you would say, oh, I've uploaded something, but I don't know if I want to commit to it yet. Normally, whenever someone's working on, we get software updates for programs, or they say, oh, the new thing's released here, update this. All the work they're doing is in a branch, and then once they kind of approve it, it then gets pushed in. Okay, issues is when you've got a bug in your code and you've kind of logged an issue. So I'll show you some of those new things. Okay, so if I wanted to upload, I don't know, my intro tutorial, I could upload some code. So I would then go into my files, go find my, those are these are my exercise bits and pieces here. I am looking for in here. Teaching files, yes. Graded video 1. So I'll take everything in here. If I had like a sorry. What are you doing to me? If I had an images folder, I would also take the folder. If I add images to it later, I actually need to add it inside the images folder if I want that to be sourcing. So I will add these with an empty images folder, and I'll add a random image. See, you just drag and drop now. And it's just like, oh, there's your code. And it says, oh, do you want to commit changes? So normally it says like this. I'd say shall, oh my gosh, and okay, something to do with like I'm starting the start setup, and I can say commit directly as a branch, or I can commit to the master, or I can then say make a new branch, and I can commit to the new branch all the time. So I'll just say commit directly, commit changes, because I don't have commitment issues since I was married by 22. Okay, so it's in there. So what we can do normally is if I do more commits, why is that folder not there? Because there's probably nothing in the folder, that's why. So that folder didn't come through because there was nothing in the folder. It's just like, no, it's empty, so no, you don't need it. Anyway, I'll move back. Now I'll do the folders while it's fresh. So I will, I don't know. I'll take that one, copy, paste. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll take this and drop it. See, images / layout, sweet, and I'll just go like, right, commit change. So yeah, add a comment every time you do it, because I mean this is saying, oh, I don't want to have to write a big giant story. Then commit more often, rather than having to write a giant story because you've like committed twice and you're trying to say what everything is. Right, so we've got an images folder, so I should be able to click into it now, and there's my image. Okay, so that's all good. And then every time I want to add images, like I'd have to go in there and then add files in there, upload files, and it should upload into here because I want to make sure it's going into here. The idea is that when you have finished your website, you should be able to actually almost like send me your address, and I should be able to get here and then download, which will download me a zip of your files done from there, and then I should be able to go, yep, sweet, done. So if it's not working from here, it's because you've stuffed your uploads. Right. Anyhow, that's covering uploading files, and I've got 3 commits now. I'm so committed. I would expect by the end of a project for year 11, you would have a minimum of, let's say, 8 commits. Year level 2, I'd say a minimum of 12, and year 13 a minimum of 15 commits. Okay, so the Wiki tab, we'll cover that real quickly. Create your wiki. So Wiki is it's a real hipster thing to do, and that's why we're doing it. No, so and going into the standard, no, wrong one, that one. Web has all this relevant implications. Hoo-ha. Can you say how you've met relevant implications? This is really where you're just going to document your relevant implication. Right, because you guys are going to provide me with a link to your GitHub because I have to mark that. And so rather than having to put things in the OneNote and then put things, I'm just going to put it in here. Can you add a picture? Image. Insert an image. I tell you what. Anyway, so we do this, and every time you're done, you make sure you hit the save page, right? And so you get home, and if I click under, like we've got pages under home, it just says relevant implications. I can type, or so I can go edit implications. This is where we have to type. See, I can never spell annoying, never can, but that's all good. It's part of the reason why it's annoying. Annoying. Right. So you can see, yep, it's there. Right, in terms of, I asked for you to upload some design stuff. Just chuck it in your images folder, like just a screenshot, like an image of some description. Right, okay, so there's your wiki. And you're like, oh, so is it just uploading some code, and then I've got a wiki where I chuck some stuff. I don't see the big deal. The main thing is the projects one. It's the one we used to spend most of your time. And you're like, oh my goodness, what's all this stuff about? It's all about doing all this stuff. Have you ever wondered how a team of programmers all work on the same files at the same time? The answer is GitHub. This is where they'd be able to coordinate something. So, okay, what's your project? We're going to say like planning web pro. Okay. Do I need it? No. Do I want a template? You can start with none, to be perfectly honest. If you want to choose one, I choose the basic Kanban. There's a whole bunch of other ones, but we can start with none, to be fair. Create project. It says you don't have any columns or cards. You know what? Right, so we start one like to do. Oops. To do. Create. That's our to-dos. Add a column. Working on. Create column. I'll go testing. Do I need a testing one? Yep, I'll call it testing, it's fine. And then a last one called complete. The idea is when we create a ticket in one of these columns, I'll say web, sorry, HTML template add. That's my to-do. I can say there, working on. I can add extra notes. So go edit note, maybe template. Because I've started working on it now, and I'll be like grid columns and rows sizes and counts. These don't need to be super detailed. Okay, so you get a sweet bullet point when you do that. Right. So essentially, it'll work from here to there. Essentially, you go to testing. I actually find that there's an issue with it, so I can say convert to issue. Title, template. I'll just leave it as template, who cares? Okay, convert to an issue. So now here it's changed, right? So if you run into something that you're finding a little bit like, oh, it's not working or what have you, convert it to an issue because it looks really OP when you go around and fix it. So then you can say, so when you click on the blue text, it goes down here, and I can say, oh, what the heck's all this stuff? Who cares? I can just say, go to full issue details. Oh, I don't want full, do I want full details? Labels, none. Oh, it needs a label. It's a bug. It's documentation, but we'll just put it as a bug. Right, so it's labeled as a bug. Yeah, it's under that project. No, there's no milestone things in here. And where is it? Close issue. Oh, it's just closed. I didn't even see how I closed it because I'm a genius. Just close it. No, I want to find out where you go away. There was somewhere in here, we say. Okay, go in there. Reopen the issue. Reopen issue. Okay. So you do go into the full one, and you'd be like, needed to have a grid inside and the other grid to ensure layout aligned or something, I don't know. Right, and then we can go close and comment. There you go. So that's basically my commented one here saying like how I fixed it. And it looks really like, okay, when you can look through here and look through your commits and stuff, I can actually see that these closed and these are all fixed. So I go back to my project. Oh no, so the project's still over here. Okay, I don't need to see that. Then I can move it to complete because it's been done. And if I go into here, the see where it says menu, I can actually see all the activity of when things have been moved from working on to this, to that, to this. So it does actually need to go through these and go through these testing. The idea is that in a perfect world, when we say complete, I would then be like, I've done something, great. So I would then go to my code and then upload that from there. So if my projects, go into it again, working on, oh, what's the next thing I'm working on? Maybe like enter content for index.html. Style index content. style navigation bar for website, because that goes across all pages. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Well, I'll style navigation bar. That'll be the first one I work on. So you can get these bits and pieces and work on it. So once I'm basically gone, oh yep, that's working. I've tested it. Well, whatever's testing done. So do I need to put a comment in for testing? Yeah, if you feel like it. Then you can go, yep, sweet, okay, cool. That's done. And then each time it's done, then you would upload your code, and you would have all your commits. Because of every time you complete a ticket, because that's all those little things moving across the tickets. Then that's it done. So I can look at your commits in here. And the other thing is, I can actually go and look at the code here. Actually shows me the code. I can see it from version to version as well. So I can actually roll back and go, oh, we need to go back to a previous one because there was a big mistake, or oh, I've lost a whole bunch of work, or what have you. What's happened? Oh, well, it was there when we did it earlier. And it's like, well, if you committed, you can actually go back to it and just go, oh, there's the code there. I'll just say this is currently the main file now, and ignore the one that was there that was after it. So this is what you do. This is version control, right? It's really important. So that's giving your idea of how you use GitHub to do your your commits and adding your bits and pieces. It's not super deadly important, but the problem you will run into if you really try and fudge this like right at the end and fake it till you make it is it's going to be your commits. Oops. So probably yeah, go back to that one. Right. Is these commits. I'm not going to be able to see multiple commits. You can kind of go through the project's ticket thing and kind of fudge along with that just fine. That's all good. Do I have to unlabel as a bug? Who cares? Right, so in terms of that there, you can do this fine, but yeah, all the commits, you can't really do the commits very well, and particularly when you're getting to level 2 and 3, and I'm expecting more commits than there are web pages, and so can't just commit, oh, yeah, I've got 4 commits, because you've got like 4 files. You've got like an index, you've got a page 2 and a page 3, a style sheet, and like a separate JavaScript file. And you're like, yeah, I've got 5 commits, and then I've got a 6th one for the images, and yeah, job done. It's like, not really. Plus the commits look pretty hokey because it's just like one commit for one file. I should be seeing the same index file get committed to multiple times. So because it's all it's going to do is going to replace, like, this one will always sit here as the main file. So if I decide, let's open up brackets, and I'll just make one change. I'll write a comment in there somewhere. It was the video one, wasn't it? Yeah. You do need commenting for excellence. And I'm going to sync for merit for level 2, and I think achieve for level 1. You have to check through the marking sheet, but yeah, okay, cool. That's done, that's saved, that's there. And then I'm going to go here where the actual original is. I'm going to upload. Yeah. Be like closed missing end tag and added commenting. That's why you comment as you go. I pressed enter. I was supposed to click the button down there. I've got 4 commits, but there's not 2 index files there. But if I go to my commits, I should be able to see, there's a comment there. So it's highlighted a bit there that's different. That's it. Showing 1 change file with 3 additions, 0 deletions. So like, it literally is showing, yeah, I only added 3 lines. But that's the kind of thing I'm expecting, is that there'll be just bits and pieces added here and there. Oh, what'd you do? Oh, I changed the class name because it was causing issues or something. Oh, actually, I changed one from a class to an ID. So there's not a lot changed, but there's a bunch of stuff on the CSS, and suddenly things start working, and then you fix bugs, etc., etc. So that is GitHub. Like I said, if you do it okay-ish for web, sweet. If you haven't done it and we're halfway through the project, workable. If you get to the end of the project and you haven't started, that's where it becomes difficult. Or you hand in the complete project and we've done resubbed and you still haven't done a GitHub, then you fail. So, needed. But yeah, if you kind of realize like, oh yeah, I should have done that in the order like Mr. Greenwood did in the video, it was clearer, it was better, then yeah, that would definitely be a good lesson learned before we hit the programming standards. So this is kind of like a trial run, if you will. So yeah, there you go. There's GitHub.